Hello everybody. So today we are going to multiply decimals two ways. The first way we're going to multiply using area models. The second way we are going to multiply using standard algorithm. So in order for us to be able to do that successfully, we're going to take a few notes. So there are 3 steps in order to be able to solve decimal multiplication problems using area models. So step number 1, we are going to color our first decimal vertically. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is to color our second decimal horizontally. Step number 3 is going to be to count the boxes that overlap in color. So now that we have those directions, we're going to actually do it, and it's so much fun. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my first step. I have 3/10, so I'm going to highlight 3/10. So here I am with 1/3, 1/3, 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. Now I'm going to do the next one horizontally, and this is for 4/10. So I'm going to start down here, 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10. So something I want to point out is I had to go from one side all the way across to the other. That's the only way to do it correctly, first of all, and that's also accurately. So now here I am on step number 3. I want to make sure all my students are paying attention to me as I'm doing this and they're not drawing on their own notes. Okay, so watch as I do step number 3, because this is how I'm going to get the correct answer. Everybody with me? Now I'm going to count my boxes. This is going to be the boxes that overlap in color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12 hundredths. 12 boxes that have both colors. So 12 out of the 100 boxes, 12 hundredths is my answer. All right, so our next problem is 6/10 times 2/10. So I'm going down 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, and 6/10. And I'm going across 2/10. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you do not have to always start on the bottom. If you want to do the top, you can. Here's 1/10 and 2/10. So we're going to look and see how many boxes are colored in with both colors. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My colors are a little bit dark. But once again, I have 12 out of my 100 boxes, so I have 12 hundredths boxes shaded in. So now we've moved on to our notes for how to solve multiplication problems using standard algorithm. The first step we need to do is to write out our problem. And of course you do that just the regular way you're used to doing it. And then you are going to solve the problem normally. And then here is where the magic is going to happen for multiplying decimals. You have to count the numbers behind the decimal in the problem. And then I just put this sort of as like a little star. The amount of decimals in your problem will be the amount of decimals in your answer. This will make more sense once we start doing it. All right, now we're going to do a couple of examples using the standard algorithm approach. So we're going to take our problem, 3 7/10, and we're going to multiply it by 4/10. So step 1, write out the problem. We just did that. Step 2, solve the problem normally. So we're just going to pretend that our decimal points aren't there. So I'm going to take 4 times 7. What is 4 times 7, everybody? 28. So I'm going to put my 8 down, carry my 2. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So here's where that magic happens that we talked about. How many decimal points do I see in my problem? Or how many decimals, I'm sorry, are there? I see one number here behind my decimal. And I see one number here behind my decimal. I like to circle them when I see them. So I see 2 numbers that I have circled in my problem that are behind the decimal. That means I'm going to have 2 numbers behind the decimal point in my answer. So that means I have to put my decimal point right there. So I have 2 numbers in my problem behind the decimal. I have 2 numbers in the answer behind my decimal. That means my final answer is 1 48/100. Let's go on to the next one. I have 4 23/100 times 9 3/10. This is not like an adding and subtracting decimals problem where you have to line up the decimal points. It's not like that. I probably could have scooted this over to the right a little bit, but I didn't. It's okay. So now we've already written out the problem. Now we have to solve the problem normally. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 3 times 4 is, put my 0 placeholder. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 2 is 18. Plus 2 is 9 times 4 is 36 plus 2.
38.
So now I'm going to add it up. See how we're just solving just like normal. 9 plus 0 is 9. 6 plus 7, 13. 1 plus 2 plus 0, 1 plus 8,
9.
and bring down my 3. Now we're going to get out our different color. Look in our problem. How many numbers do we get to circle? I see a 2 and a 3 in that 4 23/100. Now in 9 3/10, how many numbers do I get to circle? 1, just the 3/10. So that means in my answer, how many numbers are going to be behind the decimal point? 3. 1, 2, 3. That means my answer is 39 and 339 thousandths. Three numbers were circled in my problem. Three numbers are behind the decimal point in my answer.